No, that's not big enough. No, that's not big enough either. That's more like it. We're delighted to have you with us, and we extend a cordial welcome to you. We've lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on our giant screen with the new, colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading about. To add to your enjoyment, we're all wound up to bowl you over at intermission time with live wire service at our snack bar, where you'll find a tempting variety of favorite foods and beverages. Your continued patronage is very, very welcome.
Hey, somebody's crazy. Papa goes the weasel. Everybody knows the weasel blows, but popcorn, she pops real good. I eat popcorn. Everybody eats popcorn. She tastes real nice. Get yourself some now at our refreshment stand.
It's the exciting new Daredevil Trick Track with the incredible Dolphin Racer, gear-driven for longer battery life. Daredevil Trick Track, full of fantastic tricks. A sensational new steering track. A wall of logs. A teeter-totter. And it's up, 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 and over we go. A somersault flip. And now, straight through a fly-apart house. Get Daredevil Trick Track. Action-packed with tricks and tracks. It's thrilling. Spilling. Crashing. Smashing. Daredevil Trick Track from Transogram, where the fun comes from. Wow!
And we are back. You know that, welcome back to MojiTzu. This is a rebroadcast from Sunday night. If the audio is bad, someone please text my phone. I tell you that I nailed this script last week too. I was so happy. I was like, and then when I checked, the movie part, the clips, the beginning clips, I do it so I can share, make things public, blah, blah, blah. I need a little bit of time to, and it worked out, especially today, because that gremlin that's in the studio that messes whatever I do up, man, he did a number on me this time. Last week, I could not, something happened. What do we got here? Oh, sound is good. Thank you. So anyways, let's get going. For starters, I want to say welcome to my friends, my coworkers, my family, if you happen to be in the fold or whatever out there. Thanks for hanging out with me. Most of all, I want to say thank you to my coworkers because, like, I was thinking about this today. I was tired. I stayed home. I have a little bit of flexibility where I can do that. And I really wasn't feeling well. And I thought about how I would not even be at this point with this problem if I didn't have, like, everyone that was around me, their support, the way that they kind of pulled together like that. It's very humbling when I think about it. So if you guys are paying attention, thank you. Also, what else? Some business. This show is brought to you part in Bill's Key Shop from Madison, Wisconsin. If you are in a jam, give old Joe a call. That man is a very good friend of mine. He worked his way up. He bought the place. He did it old school, folks. Old school. Great guy. You couldn't have a better person in your corner to help you with your locksmith needs. EDFM USA, that is EDFM Everyday Products for Musicians. That is also my friend George out in Virginia. He makes guitar pedals, custom pedals too. If you got something that you don't know how to build or what to do, George is your guy. In fact, I have nicknamed him Q. James Bond had Q, making all his weapons. George is my Q. He modifies my pedals, and I can tell you he has a true passion for what he does. You cannot go wrong giving that man a call. Again, that is edfmusa.com. Lastly, and most importantly, Waves.com. They have jumped on the bandwagon to give old Mojo some support. So for whatever your desktop publishing needs are, check them out. There's the subscription model, I mean, everybody's doing it. I mean, it's a nuisance because how the hell can you afford everything? So if you've got to play the game, you may as well make sure that you get as much as you can for the bang for your buck. And I can tell you their subscription model is the best hands down. Check them out, waves.com. And with that, let's get on, right? All right. So I wanted to talk about some things in relation to what we've been going on about the more the darker side of recovery and some of the things that people who go through any type of recovery from substance abuse, I would assume. I can only speak from my corner and what I've been through and stuff. And this kind of was something that kind of fell in my lap. And I had witnessed some things, and I had to really reacquaint myself with this stuff. And it just goes to show that it doesn't matter what path you're on in life, you still need to try and stay on top of your game with your friends, because if something goes on, you need to, instead of have that knee-jerk reaction or whatever it is, you need to try to understand a little bit better, and that's what I chose to do. So these are some things I picked. What is haunted? Like, you're haunted if you notice that artwork I've been sharing, the cat with the blue and the black, a lot of symbolism inside that artwork. That's for my book. And the hat and all that stuff, it's a different language, folks, in between the lines. So if you have any questions, feel free to inbox or comment. Oh, and be sure to like and subscribe if you get that far. But the definition I came up for haunted is that it means to be haunted means that you are persistently troubled or emotionally affected by a past experience, memory, or event. Ghosts from your past, is a metaphorical expression referring to unresolved issues, regrets, or traumatic memories that continue to influence your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, much like haunting apparitions that linger in one's life. I think, as my friend Tanya would say, that's heavy. Or more than likely, that's cerebral. That was his thing. I miss him. Which brings up something else that I know that one of the things that I go through this thing where if I get to feeling good, so I won't take one of my medications. I'm busy, so I don't. And because I'm feeling good, I don't think twice about it. So when my body says, I need this medicine, and it comes on, it's really powerful. It's like getting hit with a brick. I have to stop and give it my undivided attention, no matter where I'm at. And because of that, that brings up some difficult things that I don't care who you are. If you've gone through the valley of darkness where you had to kick whatever's in your system that's been out like 5 years, like you've been drinking or whatever it is, and you're going through that initial part, the valley of death or the valley of darkness, you're going to have hard things. And for some people, that can be really bad if it's been particularly long. So my doctor is always like, stay away from that trauma. Don't do anything that instigates the trauma. So a lot of people don't really understand what trauma is. Excuse me. So the actual definition is trauma is a psychological and emotional response to a distressing or disturbing event. And it goes on to say how it can result from various experiences such as accidents, abuse, violence, or natural disasters, etc. And it can also often lead to intense emotional, physical reactions, which can have long-lasting effects on the individual's mental health and well-being. And it does go on to say things like flashbacks, anxiety, depression, and difficulties in coping with daily life. And it talks a little bit about different things you can do to treat. Now, this is where most of us come into play with complete strangers, and our loved ones. Emotional triggers. All that stuff is fine, but if we don't know about it, you don't know. So if something happens and someone hits a trigger and it's a truly difficult thing for them, you're going to see some type of fireworks. You're going to see something. You're going to experience something, and if you're lucky, it's passive and it goes on, or it could be quite tough depending on whatever the situation is. Now, emotional trigger is a stimulus or a situation that prompts a strong emotional reaction in the individual, often linked to past experiences or traumas. The triggers can be words, events, smells, or even certain people. When someone encounters their emotional trigger, it can evoke intense feelings like fear, anger, sadness, or anxiety and lead to emotional responses that may seem disproportionate to the triggering event. And understanding and managing emotional triggers is important for the well-being and personal growth, which is, I think, with anything, if you're trying to fix it, you got to pay attention. So we've all heard this thing about rewiring your brain. And I know that, personally speaking, like for me, it was 26 years. So that was my entire adult life. Think about that. That's nearly 3 decades. And that's a lot to just kind of into the wind, you know what I mean? So I got to really learn a lot of things. But it's really, really important to keep into consideration, folks, that not everybody wants to fix themselves. Not everybody wants to change. Some people simply just don't give a I almost got demonetized. Some people don't give a gosh darn who they hurt or how much. It's either they're incapable of addressing it, they refuse to acknowledge it, or they're just a jerk. Whatever the reason may be, you have to try to remember that your path is your path. Your ideals are your ideals. Your ethics, your values, they are yours. And most importantly, you don't need anyone else in your corner saying, I agree with you, in order for them to be valid. They are valid simply because you have them. So if you are trying to, really genuinely trying to do things and change, just remember that not everybody is going to understand. Not everybody's going to give you patience. Not everybody's going to care about you. In fact, I'm really sorry to tell you, most won't. And that does include family. And a lot of us folks come from situations and things where it's difficult. The people we grew up with or around are challenged themselves. So how do you get through things like that? I know what I do, but that's for me. And whatever it is that you do, just try to remember that what's important to you matters just because you're you. And you have value, you have self-worth, and it doesn't matter what someone wants to project onto you. You are a good person. And don't let anyone take that from you, okay? And so rewiring your brain is a term we've all heard, right? I call it knee-jerk reaction because essentially that's what I do is something happens and bang, but so I got to rewire my brain. So what the actual, I had to look this up too. The actual definition is rewiring your brain from triggers, trauma, and past hurt involves changing the way your brain reacts to emotional challenges. The process requires awareness therapy and techniques like CBT, exposure therapy, mindfulness, and patience to develop healthier responses over time. Yeah, like you didn't know any of that, right? And so who the hell has the answers? I don't. What's important for me anyways is that on this path that I'm on, if there's value in these things that I'm learning, and it's amazing how many people I run across, and some of the emails I'm getting are, I gotta admit, they're pretty cool. The dialogue is interesting. You know, I don't think I'd like to be a counselor to hear so many problems all the time, but it is nice to know that people value your opinion on what you might do, and it also lets you see that you're doing okay. And that other people are struggling too. It's just life, man. It's just the way it is, baby. So, what can you do to rewire your brain? What are some steps? I saw a recent thing on I can't remember what the doctor's name was, but she said that the more you say it out loud, whether that I'm not going to, or I'm going to, whatever it is that you keep telling yourself, that reaffirmation over and over. And as time progresses, you instinctively do that because that's the how the brain works. And I don't know, but it made an awful lot of sense. And I do know that the cognitive behavioral therapy, the CBT as they call it, that can be interesting, but not everybody needs such hardcore levels. Maybe some of us just really need to meditate once a day, which is extremely, extremely powerful, folks. If you don't do it, shut your brain off, turn it off, and just shove the world away. Get whatever the monsters you have going on in your head and in your life and get it out. And I'll tell you, it will make a difference for all you folks that do art and creativity. You will start to see different ideas pop up. You'll start to respond to them quicker. You'll start to see better visions of what you're capable of. And most of all, you'll feel more comfortable reaching for the things that you're trying to do. It just kind of falls into place the more that you do it. And I get that for you folks out there who just simply don't give a damn. Maybe you don't want to change, or maybe you don't know how. I've been there. I think that all of us who have gone through things, we've been there. And what I can tell you is that you don't have to look at it from the big picture. Like, say if you got one thing wrong, chances are you're going to have a couple others, possibly one, maybe two. But just do your best. And if you're consistent with that and you keep doing that and you keep trying, the people in your life will see that. They will know who you are for the way you are. And eventually they'll understand. And just keep at it, and meditation is such a powerful tool to get you there. Thinking about what life is and clearing your brain out and turning it off and breathing and just existing and remembering how special you are just because you're alive. Awareness that you have it, that's huge. I'm not even going to touch it. If you don't know about it, then, ignorance is bliss, right? So, then what else? I don't think I have too much more. Well, this one is a big deal. Exposure therapy. Now, if someone pointed out to me that if your thing is that you got your rear end kicked or beat up and yelled at, that maybe perhaps just a little it's not a good idea to expose yourself to that more. But I personally am a big fan of that. If you've got something that causes you anxiety, like for me the camera was a big deal, having nothing there when I was done playing and changing how I reacted, right? You know what I mean? Big change. So, but the more that I did it, the better that I feel. The easier it is, you get it. But most of all, folks, you're going to need some type of positive reinforcement. Find some people that understand, that get you. Get them on your team. If you get a good team, you're going to go far. You're going to solve a lot of things in your life, and you're going to make things happen. Trust me. But most of all, you need to give yourself time and patience. That is so, so important. And I don't want to babble on it anymore. It's my second time. But those things came up because I had to try and better understand something that I was privy to. And sometimes, especially when you walk the path that I happen to be on, you see people from all walks of life. Excuse me. It is quite probable that just about everybody I run across is having some type of challenge, whether it's financial, emotional, all of it above, and it wears people down after a while. And so rather than think bad or wrong, I chose to try to better understand. And all of that was stuff from a speaking engagement I did a couple years back. I hope you found value in it. And I'm going to shut up and play some music. That's the stuff. Riding on the wind, riding on the wind, on my magic butterfly. I'm gonna hold you in my heart until the day that I die, and I'm gonna fly away from this world and all my pain. I'm riding on the wind, you're my magic butterfly. Magic butterfly had died. Oh, it flew away, and I don't know what to do. I'm stuck in this world and all my pain, and I'm gonna fly away from this world and all my pain, and I'm riding on the wind, on my magic. You know, I am working on a new template that I had to reconstruct throughout the earlier part of my day. I- And that's why I had it backwards. It's funny how that works. I really don't know what happened. It was I did read something that there was a guy. He had made a comment that he did the update for the eCam, and then everything was gone, and all his layers and everything was all out of whack. And I've been having that. In fact, that's what you guys saw in the beginning. That even though I did all this, my dragon wouldn't fly in the beginning because the file wasn't there. Even though it is there, it's just that little gremlin guy running around. Yeah, I'm gonna get him someday. Whoa, what an idiot that guy is, making me look bad like that. I think I do just fine by myself. All right. Now, if you guys ever hear that through headphones, I went through a lot of trouble to get that bottom end to warp like that. So, like, if you turn it up a little bit, check it out. I worked really hard to get that vibe. I work a lot with reverse, which is a real big deal to me. I recently ran across this guy. If you guys get a chance, check him out. I really, really, really liked it. He did this song called Deja Vu, and I'm trying to find it right now. And I think it's Taj Moi. It's a weird name. And I do this thing routinely where I search for by phrase on music and stuff like that. And I was looking under psychedelic and found him. And it was a really cool. I don't have it. Didn't save it. I will get it for you because it was very good. The song is called Deja Vu. And what he did is he assembled the whole thing with reverse, really nice and tight, well done. It wasn't digital. Because I know my reverse. I buy pedals thinking that it's good reverse, and then I send them back because it's not. And I have it narrowed down to like 3 different ones that I prefer, but this was some of the finest work. I mean, and it was done on the fly because I heard a live recording of it, and he nailed it. It's called Deja Vu. Just look it up, and if you can't find it, type in something like reverse guitar after it, and you'll probably find them. But it's really, really excellent. I highly recommend it. And I think with that, guys, I'm gonna keep it kind of short and end it for the night. Next week, I should be back on path. I'll have time to get this done in time for Sunday night when I do a repeat. I'm not sure where we're going for Journeys this Friday night, but I will announce it tomorrow. It was a lot of work reconstructing all of my layers and everything that I have to do for this whole production. I know it doesn't always look or sound the best, but a lot of work goes into it. And when you're the one-man wrecking crew, you gotta work with the time that you do have. So, folks, with that in mind, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I can't tell you how much it means to me. It really does. It's this vlog and everything else. I get so much out of it. Interacting with everybody is real nice. I love that. The emails I get about Zooey are cool. She's doing fine. She is into everything, and she can do no wrong. So if she's stepping on my keyboard or whatever, messing it up, it's still not her fault. She can do no wrong. She is just an angel. And remember to take care of each other out there. We're all we have. Our neighbors, our friends. It's easy to find a reason to be angry at someone and to hate on them. It's easy. It's easy to be jealous. It's easy to feel inferior. It's easy to think bad of yourself in these terrible days. But remember that that's what it is. I think that the joke that I hear in my circles is stinking thinking. I hate those cliches. But be that as it may, it is true. And folks, be gentle on yourselves. Be forgiving of yourselves and do your best to not judge people on their worst days. Just do your best. Nobody can fault you. You're human. You don't need to be a doormat. You don't have to be a jerk to others. Just do your best. But most of all, folks, please remember to take my love with you wherever you go. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. And thanks for dealing with the rebroadcast stuff. We're getting there. And have a wonderful week. Bye. Oh, man, it is not my day. Oh, Mr. Gremlin, if I ever catch you, here it is, folks. Good night.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.